The lie we call love, a modern deconstruction. Not because you're a fool, not because you're broken, but because you were handed a script the moment you were born, and no one ever told you it was fiction. They told you that love is pure, that it heals, that it transforms chaos into poetry. They told you that women are softer, purer, more giving, natural healers of masculine wounds. And maybe you wanted to believe that. Maybe you needed to. But what if it was never true? What if love, as we've been taught to see it, is not a bond, but a performance? Not a gift, but a negotiation? Not an escape from power, but one of its most elegant forms? And what if everything you thought was love was actually leverage? Modern love is built on mythology. We call it destiny, but it's habit. We call it soul connection, but it's psychological projection. We say, she completes me, when what we really mean is, she fills in the cracks I'm too scared to face. We don't fall in love with people. We fall in love with our stories about them. We fall in love with the idea that someone out there will rescue us from loneliness, validate our worth, and reflect only the beautiful parts of us back to ourselves. But no one is just a reflection, and no one is just what we need them to be. Let's talk about her. Not the fantasy, the real woman. She is not an angel, not a savior, not a moral compass handed down by the divine. She is instinct. She is history. She is adaptation. In a world that denied her armies, she built empires with silence. Where men used force, she used influence. While men conquered land, she mastered the invisible terrain, emotion, perception, attention. And here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. She didn't become powerful by accident. She became powerful because she had to. When you can't control systems, you learn to control situations. When you can't claim authority, you learn to claim attachment. And when you can't own a throne, you learn to rule from the shadows. You think she loves unconditionally, but love, for her, is never separate from strategy, because survival is never separate from calculation. This doesn't make her manipulative. It makes her brilliant. It makes her efficient. It makes her lucid in a way that terrifies men who still think love is supposed to be magic. While you open your heart, she studies your patterns. While you confess your feelings, she measures the cost. While you dream of forever, she's mapping the exits. This is not because she lacks emotion. It's because she understands its weight, its power, its consequences. You want a romance. She wants relevance. You offer your soul. She evaluates your value. You think she's a goddess, but she's just a human, one who has learned to weaponize invisibility. And yet, you call her cruel. You call her cold, because she did not fit the story you wrote for her. But maybe that's your real pain. Not that she broke your heart, but that she refused to play the part you cast her in. This is not about women being bad. It's about the lie that women are always good. It's about the myth that femininity is inherently nurturing, selfless, soft. What if those traits, the ones we celebrate, are not virtues but tactics? What if kindness is a tool? What if emotional openness is a lure? What if the good girl was never an identity, but a strategy? Not out of malice, but necessity. When you live in a system that doesn't give you visible power, you become fluent in invisible power. Men seek clarity. Women often master ambiguity. He demands answers. She shapes perception. He fights to lead. She leads by letting him think he's in charge. That's not deceit. That's adaptation. And adaptation is not immoral. It's intelligent. The problem isn't that women understand influence. The problem is that men refuse to admit it exists. They still want to believe in fairy tales. They still want to believe that love makes you safe, that connection makes you whole. But love is not safe. It's a chessboard, not a cradle. And every time you idealize it, you step onto the board as a pawn. So what does it mean to love clearly? It means killing the illusion. It means looking at her not as a savior, but as a sovereign, not as your missing piece, but as another player with her own game, her own needs, her own agenda. It means understanding that tenderness can be a tactic, that silence can be a boundary, that affection can be a currency. Love is not always pure, but it is powerful when you see it for what it truly is. You think this is cynical, but cynicism would be saying love doesn't exist. This is something else. This is radical clarity. This is love without the costume. Love where both people know the game and choose to play it with eyes open. Not because they have to, because they want to. And in that shared awareness, something stronger than fantasy can emerge. Something rooted, something real. So where does that leave you? You can stay asleep. You can keep projecting. Keep giving your soul away to someone who didn't ask for it. Keep calling it love when it's really longing. Or you can wake up. You can stop asking, why did she betray me? And start asking, why did I need her to be more than human? You can stop begging to be chosen and start choosing yourself. Because until you do, you will always confuse affection for approval. You will always give more than you get. You will always call it love when it's really a transaction. Here is your choice. Keep seeking angels, or start seeing people. Start seeing women not as answers, but as complex, powerful, autonomous beings with their own shadows. And maybe, just maybe, when you meet her there without your illusions, without your need to be saved or adored, something honest can begin. Not a fairy tale, but a fire. And that is what real love looks like. Not perfection, not purity, but presence. Two people, two wills, no masks, no myths, just the raw, unfiltered dance of freedom. Now ask yourself, would you rather be loved for who you really are, or adored for who you pretend to be? Would you rather see her clearly, or keep holding on to a dream? Because clarity may hurt, but only illusions can truly break you. Welcome to the end of the lie. Welcome to the beginning of something real.